Hey everybody! We're very happy because it's a very sunny day.
So beautiful.
Yes. So welcome to the Fleece and Harmony Woolcast. And this is episode 174. We're approaching 200.
Oh, I was thinking 175 sounds like
Yes.
a nice, delicious number.
Yes, it is. And it is May 30th if you're watching this on the day that it's published, which would be Friday. And we're recording on, what is today, the 27th?
Maybe?
Yeah, May 27th. So this Woolcast is all about our crafting journeys, the Fleece and Harmony gang. And I'm Kim.
I'm Betsy.
I'm Simone.
And we are the three crazy people that are just wander around doing random crafts and changing our minds about what we do and what we're doing, trying new things. And this podcast is being recorded in our yarn shop, where it's in the woolen mill on our sheep farm in Belfast, Prince Edward Island,
Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't put the Canada, people will mention it.
A new shtick.
Yeah, exactly. So you might have gotten the idea if you're new here that we have an agenda, but we kind of go off on different tangents, and we just hope that you have fun with us. Grab your crafting and your favorite beverage, and we'll probably have a few laughs. We always do.
Yep.
A few interruptions because we're
In the shop.
We're in the shop. That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got a pretty full episode, but as always, we start with, and I should say, if you're a regular viewer, thank you for joining us again, because I welcome the new people, but we have, I think we've been at this like for 7 years.
You maybe have, yeah.
So, and we've got people that have seen the very first episode, which I don't know why they're still here. Because after the first one, I actually looked at the first one not that long ago because I was transferring files from my computer, and I was like, oh boy, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so thanks for giving us a chance.
Steep learning curve in podcasting.
Yes. It looks so easy, but it's really quite something. Anyway, so we'll do our regular kind of agenda, and if you don't like something we're saying, there's chapters, so you can skip to the next section if you want. And we always start with a farm update, then we have a shop update, and then we talk about what projects we're working on, and then it goes wherever from there. Yeah. So today is that you're watching is May 30th, and on May 27th is a beautiful day. And the very first thing that we talked about, we have on the agenda for the farm update, was early January, because the seasons in Prince Edward Island are, I think it's late winter, early spring, late winter, later winter, late spring, and then you get through in May, which is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get January, because every day that it's under 10 degrees Celsius in June just doesn't seem right. So we've had cold, wet, dark days, except for one or two, I think, all during May. So May is a bit tough. And but today is a glorious day.
This is the weather we're supposed to have on Victoria Day weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of the windy, rainy,
cold Victoria Day weekend.
Yeah.
Although if I think of all of the camping trips I've taken on Victoria Day weekend, it should just be called Hope Weekend.
Oh, yeah. But that's what the beer's for.
Oh, shucks, I forgot mine at home.
Yeah.
I thought it was because
Always
Queen Victoria
fun.
enjoyed the odd brewski herself.
Oh, and yeah, I doubt it. Anyway, so in Canada, it's called the May 24th, right? Yeah, the May 24th weekend, even if it is not on the 24th, and but it's also known as 2-4.
Yeah, May 2-4 weekend.
Yeah, the May 2-4, because you drink a 2-4 beer if you're tenting, if you're young and crazy. So yeah. Anyway, so the weather has been kind of nuts, but nature perseveres. So I have pear blossoms on the pear trees. The apple trees are blossoming late. I took full pictures of bouquets of lilacs on by this week in normal years, and they're not even out in flower yet.
Because we saw, did you put lilacs on the newsletter.
That's from last year.
I wondered, because Matthew was like, what? And we actually went out and looked at our bush to make sure that like something wasn't happening crazy 8 kilometers down the road.
No.
And I was like, mine are this big. How does she? And then I said, that must be from last year.
Yeah.
And then I saw the sun in the background and I was like, it's definitely from last year.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really like a whole week behind. And we have a few spots in our lawn where we wanted to reseed the grass because they'd been dug up or whatever, died off. And the guy where I bought the grass seed assured me that if you watered it on your kitchen floor, it would grow, but not in our backyard apparently, because there's not been enough heat to actually activate it. So it's been a bit crazy, but then you have a day like today and you just forget about all that.
Yeah.
And until I remind everybody, and then hope for the best that it's going to be good. And we're anxiously looking at the weather because we're shearing on Sunday. So our little flock of sheep are, and they can't be wet when they're shearing. So there's not really any rain. There's like 24% chance of showers or something, but
Friday, is it?
yeah, maybe. But they actually have to be, if they do get wet, they actually have to dry out for 2 days because they don't, with their full fleece, they don't actually completely dry out. They'll still be damp. So anyway, we're watching that, but it looks like it's going to be okay. And there was something else that I was going to say about what's happening on the farm. We've started moving our fences around, so the sheep are mowing our lawn for us. So people say, "Oh, well, is that your yard?" Yes. And when are you going to mow the other part of it? No, we just move the sheep around, so we have our natural lawnmower. And I think that's it. Yeah, so it's all pretty good. So we'll go quickly to the shop update because we have a couple projects that we looked at, and Betsy's been busy doing things. So in the last newsletter, we suggested a pattern for thrum mittens. And so our thrum mittens that we have here in the shop for sale are knit by Joe, who's an authentic Newfoundland knitter, thrum mitten knitter.
Tongue twister.
Yes, exactly.
From knitter.
Yes, and she, I find her the expert on thrum mittens because she makes the best thrum mittens, and she uses our yarn to make them. So I've seen patterns for thrum mittens that use a finer yarn than suggested, like a worsted weight, but Joe says no go on that. You need something a little bit thicker to make them really cushy and lovely. So the traditional thumb mittens are traditional. They can be anything, but we use traditional kind of sock monkey colors, so gray, slate gray, and this is the signature Aran. And you can use contrasting yarns to do the cuffs with a stripe is what our regular thrum mittens are. So if you do them all in one color, though, you need 2 skeins of our Aran weight yarn to do them. And we've also done up these little kits for the thrums. So what you'll get is you have to buy your 2 skeins of signature Aran, and then you have to put in your order for the thrums, which are in the same kind of, there's links that I will give so you have everything. And when you get your thrum, the wool to make the thrums, you're going to get 2 bags of this because we give you 60 grams of the roving to make the thrums. And it was too thick it's quite a lot. When you take it out of the bag, it looks like it's a lot, but you need quite a bit to do the thrum. So what you'll get when you order you order 2 skeins, unless you have already Aran yarn that you're going to do the cuffs in a different color, 2 skeins of signature Aran, and you'll order 1 wool for thrum, but when you get the box, you'll have two of these in it, which makes up the 60 grams that you need. And you guys have suggested some other colors, some fun colors. Yeah.
So we chose raspberry cordial because it's just a gorgeous.
And then you put that
red.
white with it. It's, beautiful.
And then we also thought you could do a little something. People are always looking for ideas to use variegated yarn. So we chose our Harbor. I would recommend, if you use a variegated or choose one of ours, choose one that doesn't have white background in it at all, because otherwise you will lose the look of the thrum when you add that to it. So,
And if you really can't think that you're going to knit thrum mittens, then we do have a stock of the ones that are already made. But we found a really good pattern for them by pardon? Fiberly, yes, yes, and it's called Thrum From Away or something like that.
Oh, I get it. Play on the words of come from away.
Yeah, exactly. Cute. And we have a link for that in the show notes and in the newsletter as well. And as Simone said, the designer is Fiberly, so we checked out that, and it's an easier, kind of less complicated pattern because it just has a rounded top and it's an afterthought thumb. So if you're a beginner thrum knitter, then it's a good pattern to buy.
You don't have to worry about a gusset or anything like that.
Exactly.
So
yes.
It makes it very simplistic.
Yes, and she tells you how to do the thrums. And the one thing that I'll say, and you've mentioned this before, is when you're doing the thrums, don't make them too thick.
No.
Yeah.
You want it to approximate, when you twist it, the thickness of the yarn that you're using.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to end up with oven mitts.
Yes.
Because if they're a little bit thicker, that compounds throughout knitting and putting all these in. So you'll end up with a really puffy oven mitt-like mitten. Yeah.
So she even tells you like to make a loop around your 4 fingers, and that will give you enough length of the thrum. So you're going to have something that's about this long, and then you twist it in the middle, like where you would be making you're basically making like a stitch,
an extra piece
of yarn. And she said when you twist it, it should be the same width as the yarn that you're using. So it's not really, it's a small amount.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So that's fun. And knitting thrum mittens is Simone's favorite thing.
I've never even attempted.
I haven't attempted either, but they are just delightful. Yeah,
they're beautiful to wear, but you could not pay me enough to knit them for somebody.
Joe loves knitting them.
I know. It's kind of that way. You either love them or you hate them. For knitting, it's just there's no middle ground.
So the pattern actually suggests that you do the thrums in advance, so that you have all your little things down. She even says use a little bit of water to twist in the middle of the thrum to make the yarn size that you need. And she said get those done, so all you have to do is pick them up and put them in. Because if you have to stop your knitting and actually make the thrum, then
they take forever.
Yeah, but anyway, they're very nice.
Yeah,
there's
so
nothing
some evening watching TV, just make your thrums.
Yeah,
and then the next evening you just knit and pick.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just you're only twisting in the middle because you want the fluffy ends to be inside the mittens to make this. Anyway, so that's that. So it's not a kit per se, because you can order any color of signature yarn that you want. You buy the pieces separately. You buy the pattern from the designer. But we just wanted to make some suggestions because they are very, very popular around here. And so that's great. And the other thing we have, Betsy and Simone came up with, we had some of this is the Alpaca DK that we had.
Argyle Alpaca.
Yeah, Argyle Alpaca. And we had some left, and these two came up with a pattern.
Pattern suggestion.
Yeah, so who wants to talk about it?
Okay. Yeah. We chose the Hesper shawl by Savory Knitting.
Yeah.
And it only requires 2 colors, but we figured, we'll give you the option of 3 to choose from. So 1 background color and then 1 accent color. It's a slip stitch mosaic type knit. You're probably going to want to put a picture.
I have a picture. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. And it's kind of one of those fun quilty themed projects. So it's got that kind of crossover to it. You would need 3 of each color to complete the project.
So just to be clear, and Betsy was explaining to me that you guys chose these colors because you could do blue and autumn birch, you could do autumn birch and slate, you could do blue, November sky is the blue. And that's all the combination?
Yeah,
that's all the combination.
We're unlocking a lock.
Yeah, exactly. So you only need two of the three colors, and you need 3 skeins of each of the colors that you choose.
Right.
Okay. So we'll put that, we'll put a link in the show notes, and those will be available. We also have I do a collection in the shop every podcast, which says on the podcast, and everything that we talk about in the podcast. If you go into that on our menu, there's right at the top, it says on the podcast. You'll see everything that we talk about that's in the shop right there.
I will just make a note as well, because with our Aran and worsted and sock, there's really no end to that. We just make that all the time. This Argyle Alpaca is a limited run at the moment, so these skeins will put an actual number in and they will run out.
Yeah. So, and just to be clear, this Argyle Alpaca is made from our regular wool base with alpaca from Prince Edward Island as well. So that's the blended.
And if you want to do something else with it, not the shawl, just for your information, it's 250 yards for 80 grams. And I don't remember the percentage content. Do you guys know?
30% alpaca.
30% alpaca.
Yeah.
Which makes 70% wool, right?
Yeah, exactly. But look at you mathing. Anyway, so that's it. So this yarn is really, when this was, especially, it's all lovely, but especially when this autumn birch came off after drying, it was just like spun gold. It's really nice.
I'm comparing Aran to DK here, but you can just see that little bit of alpaca in there. It just gives it that little bit of drape, but not too. I think there's enough wool in there. It still has good body to it too.
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. And then is there anything else? I think that was, last chance for lilacs in bloom. So literally 2 days left. So I'll show a picture of lilacs in bloom, even though our lilacs are not in bloom. Wishful thinking. Yeah. So, and then that's the color for May, and that's it for ever. It'll be gone
forever.
Yeah. So that's the last chance for that. So now we'll start talking about our projects. So we're
wearing first.
Yes, exactly. So we'll do what we're wearing first. So do you want to go first, Simone?
Sure. I am wearing Vellichor by Andrea Mowry, and it is in hand spun and stash yarn.
Yeah. And I'm wearing Cornwallis by Martin Storey, which is knit in Summerlite DK, which is one of my favorite sweaters. It's like a sweatshirt.
You wear it all the time.
I love it. Yeah.
And I'm wearing Everyday Fun, we'll call it.
Oh,
actually, I just realized you guys always only see it from the front. So it's a me creation. I made it on my own, but the back is actually all color work.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. This is an early project that you did.
Early project. Yeah. I just modified hiking jacket. The hiking jacket I've made 3,000 times.
The famous hiking jacket.
But now I've been seeing a lot of vests that have come out that if I do want to. Well, I need to finish that sheep vest. So I think what I'm going to do is go and get a vest pattern, because what I didn't know with this is to just take a sweater. Neither of you are wearing the right style. And just like inset sleeve, it's still too wide. An inset sleeve is still too wide, so I had to tuck it in. So if you're wanting to make it to a vest, it really does have a significant cut in compared to what a sweater.
What do you mean it was still? The top part is
still too wide. So I actually ended up folding mine.
So you had Star Trek-y. Okay.
So I had to kind of bring those in. So now there are lots of vest patterns out there that I would go and just get. I guess I could probably do it myself, but anyway, I would decrease more than I did on this one. Because
you're right. You can see you want it to kind of go back of your shoulder. Yeah. So okay, all right, and so then Well, you may as well start with the projects.
Sure.
Speaking
so,
of
the
knits
hiking
men wants.
jacket that I have modified a few times and knit a few times.
Yeah.
This is the latest rendition of that pattern.
I'll hold this for you
Sure,
just in
thank
case
you.
it goes wrong.
So Matthew's sweater is finally got the sleeves in.
So do you want to just give a quick recap of what you had to do?
Yeah. So when I went to make the sleeves and follow the pattern, I am doing a very different gauge than it was initially written in. However, the pattern does talk about using any gauge you want, but I don't know exactly what went wrong. But for some reason, the decreasing of the shoulder was so significant, there was not enough room to put his masculine shoulders into this. I mean, mine wouldn't even have fit. Forget masculine. It didn't fit shoulders, period. So I had to figure out how I was going to recreate the sleeve cap is essentially what I did. So I ripped back just to, you can actually see because I haven't blocked it yet. So right to here, I ripped back to here. And what I ended up doing is I just knit straight for a lot longer than would be normal. And then just tried it on him. So I sewed it together with the knitting needle still hooked in here. Tried it on him and literally like tapered it and kept having him try it on and sewing a little bit and then knitting some more and taper some more. And anyway, so that's how I figured out the first sleeve. And then I knew what I needed for the second sleeve. So it's very tailored to him. I didn't follow a specific decrease rate. I literally just shaped it to his body, similar to what I would do if I was creating clothes for one of my critters.
Right. So you, just to be clear, is that, so this is a very fine yarn, a DK verging on fingering, knit on a very small needle. The knitting is just gorgeous. He wanted it to be more dressy, so he wanted it a little more fitted. So it's completely modified.
Perfectly tailored for him.
Yes, right up to knitting it on.
Knitting it while wearing it. No, I did take it off to knit it. And we added the color work across the front there. So it is still, I would say, quite fitted, but we are counting on the fact that we know how this yarn behaves. And I have
so this is our regular, it's 100% wool yarn.
Wheatley River yarn. So I'm counting on the fact that I know that our yarn tends to shrink up a little bit and stretch out in width. So we have factored that in because the last time I made him one, he ended up with more width than he wanted because I didn't factor that in. So we're doing this. So he assures me it's perfect. It's perfect. So the only little question now is I'm getting some puckering on the shoulders here. Now it hasn't been blocked, but I am wondering if, so at the very top of the sleeve cap, I cast off quite a few. I think there's like 30 stitches just straight across there. And I think my cast off was a little tight.
So are you talking not in the armhole, you're talking on the sleeve cap itself? Okay. So if worst comes to worst.
I just have to pick back a few stitches.
And then redo the cut. Oh, okay.
So again, I'm not super concerned.
Are you going to block it first?
I'm going to block it. I'm even going to have him wear it a few times and see, because it's amazing how much knitting, like a pair of jeans. You really do. Molds. Like you break it in. And because it's perfectly tailored, his shoulder is filling that out quite a bit. So I will just give this a real good beat down when I...
You love to beat your knitting.
I do love to beat my knitting when I block it. So I'm excited. We're doing a folded over collar. So I've left it on because I need to go pick up the zipper. And I had the forethought to realize zippers aren't like every single length, right? So I was like, oh, well, if the zipper's a 1/4 inch longer or shorter, I will just adjust the length of the collar to
and so this is the same collar as what you have on yours that you're wearing. So you can make it a bigger or smaller.
Exactly. And it's just going to be folded over, doubled over, and it'll be, I think it's going to be
it's very
really,
neat,
really nice.
Isn't it?
Ooh, that's what I was going to ask about. I'm considering doing an I-cord down here just to neaten it up with the zipper. That's possible, right? Like I've heard, is that what's called an applied I-cord when you add it afterwards? Okay. So I will just look up a tutorial to see.
And it would definitely make it look more tailored.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It'll give it that clean edge. And then if I put the zipper, anyway.
It'll kind of make the zipper invisible, right? Is that how it'll come together?
Come together, but or just give it, that cleaner. I've seen it on store-bought zip sweaters all the time. So, or I don't know if they do an I-cord, but they do like a
a little placket, or whatever you call it. Yeah.
Thing. So I'm gonna give that an attempt as well, and see how that works.
So the color, because this is just stunning, is spruce and November sky, or
it is spruce, but I lightened it up a bit. So we had a color at one time we ran called Mallard, that we did for a special run on something. So it's kind of in between those two, but pretty for the works.
Yeah, and this is
November. Take the Fairy.
Take the Fairy. Okay, the light blue. Yeah. And if you're looking and you've seen this on the bottom, there's not a stripe on the bottom. That's just the facing, and you knew you were going to have plenty of. You were not sure about the amount of this.
And I'm down to the last one there. So,
okay. So she just knit with the blue that she had plenty of, to save some yarn to make sure she can, which was very smart. And I
did the little purl row for the turn, so that just gets it a cleaner. Yeah. We had put in his last one, we had put elastic in here. He's undecided at the moment whether we're going to need it or not. It may naturally just kind of, He has a shapely backside for a gentleman. So it'll probably ride up on his backside and sit kind of up like an elastic waist would anyway. So, and again, I told him that's something, if really need be, I'll sew it so that if we want to undo stuff and get in there, not an elastic.
Wow. It's really a custom.
Very custom.
Lucky guy. It feels lovely.
When you want something perfectly fitted, you have to be okay with understanding that you're going to, at some point, probably have to deviate from the pattern.
Yes.
Which is totally expected, because patterns are, first of all, created by one person, and then second of all, made to be accessible to many.
Right.
So if you want something that just fits you, at some point, you're going to have to do some fudging.
Different.
And also, you have to be prepared for possibly ripping back and adjusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I definitely had to do that.
Yeah. Well, you did a lot of things with this.
Yeah.
Very fine yarn, very small needles, fit it to his body, and adding the pattern, and just, it's been it's a real custom.
Working from the pattern gave me somewhere to start.
Yes.
That's really what,
and then after that, it's really gorgeous.
So it should be done by next time.
Yeah.
Also, there is still...
You need to take a picture with it, not with wearing it.
Yes. Yeah. There is still also the orange that is to make an appearance.
Yeah.
I really like it right now. I think it's very classy without, but he wants, but we have to at least try it. So I will very carefully put it in there.
Yeah, it's duplicate stitch that you're doing anyway. Yeah. Yes, okay. Right.
I just don't want those orange pieces left on it if we don't. Anyway, it's his sweater, people. His sweater. I gotta let go.
Right. All right. And what next do we have? Well, yes, you've been busy with making amigurumi.
Making my friends. Well, we'll start with this guy because you've seen him last week.
Yeah.
So many of you enjoyed his springy legs, but they have since been a little bit, what's the word I wanted? Modest. They've been turned into more modest.
Because to explain, if you hadn't seen the last episode, every time his legs were opening. Yeah. So did you sew it?
I did. Just a little stitch in there.
Yes, but somebody in the comments wrote a very good idea.
It was amazing. So they said magnets.
Yeah.
Which next time I will absolutely use. I didn't want to tear back in. I would have had to basically take the legs off, unstuff them, put the magnets in, and then because they're knit from the bottom up. Or not knit, crochet from the bottom up. Yeah. So anyway, what you had not seen last time was he now has a little hat and a little cowl that's done in striping, and I used helical knitting on my double point.
But look at the little brim on the hat.
Yeah. I realized I should have. I had not done a brimmed hat, I don't think, since moving here. So many years. I used to make them for myself. You need to put an increased stitch or two in here to give a little bit of, just allows for that space to round out. And I forgot to do that. So his is a little, so I just gave it a good little tug.
Yeah, okay. You're really rough on your knitting.
Sometimes.
when it needs it.
It's crochet, it's wool.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Oh, so this is like a little what is it?
Muff?
No, Mobius.
Yes,
Mobius.
Yeah,
with the twist.
And you put the twist
yeah,
in it.
wow.
And it's done in Rowan felted tweed.
Oh my goodness.
He is a fancy fox.
Yes, and the hat comes off, and of course, then the cowl comes off, like all your toys.
The cowl does come off. He has to have a bit of a nose job to get it off.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend. It's not really made to be like a dress me fox.
Right.
You change it up.
Very cute. Okay, what else do you have?
There's twin. This one we'll just do quick and simple. It's just I had done one last week that I showed you, and I just changed the colors up to use the yarn up essentially.
Okay.
And he sits a little different than his sibling. His arms are a bit more, I don't know. You just do different things each time just to make it cute.
And this is in a cotton yarn, I think, right?
This is cotton glacé.
Okay.
I wouldn't know exactly which colors.
Yeah.
And this, what looks like white, is actually this really, really slightly icy blue one.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, nice.
But that's him.
Yeah, cute.
And then the last one I have for this week, there might still be more on the go.
Oh.
Is my I'm calling him a Norwegian owl. I have no idea if he's, I don't know. I assume they have similar owls to what we have here, probably. I was going to go with a barred owl. That was kind of what I was going for, because those are one of the ones Simone finds around here quite often. Yeah. But I should have done like straight lines, I realized. So there's always the next one, because there's more of this yarn left over.
Yeah.
So this little guy's head is made from Diva's Desire. Yeah. That I had left from a bear.
Okay. Yeah.
And then these two wools, that's also why I'm calling him a Norwegian wool, is left over from Matthew's Norwegian farm sweater. On for the body and the back of the wings here, and then a little bit of leftover Rowan felted tweed for nose and feet, which is why I love these critters, because you can just use leftovers. You don't have to have a ton of little
pieces. So I should say and clarify, because we've had some questions about it, and somebody commented and told me what I should have said. So we talked before that Betsy crochets left-handed, I crochet right-handed. We discovered when Betsy was teaching me how to do amigurumi that I twist my yarn over the hook in the opposite direction that you do. So
we only ever figured out opposite. We can't even remember, or we never took the time to watch ourselves to see who goes over and who goes under.
So I did.
Oh, you did?
So okay. I go over.
I must go under.
Yes, and so Betsy goes under. But it's recommended to go under, even if it doesn't matter what hand you're crocheting with, but it's recommended to go under when you're doing amigurumi, because you do get a slightly different stitch that's more densely packed. Like it covers, for stuffing, it's better.
The understitch, you end up with more of a cross.
Yes.
The over, you end up with a bit more of a sort of a star with a little bit of a circle in the middle of it. And that little tiny circle can allow
you can see the stuffing through. If you don't have if you didn't have stuffing the same color as what your knitting is, you can actually see it.
Where this stitch is fully sealed.
Yeah, exactly. So over your yarn over when you crochet for crocheting, if that's how you crochet, and yarn under specifically for amigurumi if that's not, but you crochet, you always do it under.
Always under. And I was going to say, when we did our wallflowers.
Yeah, you did some for me. Remember, you helped me with some of them?
No, that was, so I was just going to say, the stitches that you're using there, it doesn't matter. It's only when you have a significant number of single crochets, which is what most of amigurumi uses, that you're going to notice it. But because we were doing so many doubles and triples and half crochet, I don't think we see the difference at all.
No, we didn't see it.
Either that, or when you watched Sue's, do you think you maybe switched what you were doing versus when you were working with me doing the amigurumi?
I don't think I switched anything, because
if you followed Sue's videos exactly the way she's doing it, I'm fairly certain she does it the same as I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't even know.
You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident to say under is the more commonly used way for a crochet stitch.
Oh, okay.
Now you have to pay attention to
yourself. Now I'll have to, who knows?
It loves to contemplate while she creates.
Yes. Anyway, a little bit anal, maybe. Oh, that might be the word you're searching for.
Detail oriented.
Just, scientific.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I did want to say one other thing, another suggestion from one of our viewers. She pointed me in the direction of a tutorial to help with the jogless crochet stitching. So this is the back of this one. As you can see, it's not, again, to my eye, because I want it to be perfect. I want it to not show at all. But it is definitely better along here.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference from the other one.
If you look at this leg where I did not apply it because I had already crocheted it before that comment came up. So it is definitely an improvement, which I was delighted to have for the back because the back shows. The legs and the arms, I can hide it. And the head, it ends up under his mane. Yeah. But the back.
That's a big improvement.
It's a really big
improvement. So
improvement.
what do you do?
Gosh.
Is it complicated?
It's not if you have a video to watch it. It would be complicated for me to try to verbally say.
Okay, and what is the video called? Jogless stripes and crochet, or?
Yes, and I will give you, it's in our comment section on the last video, but I will give you the actual, I can't remember it at the moment, but yeah, it's jogless crochet in the round, but there is a name to go with.
So you can give that to me and I'll put it down here.
Because there are other ways that I've tried in the past that do not work as well as this lady's method.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Okay.
Which I knew it had to exist because hacky sacks.
Yes, that's right.
And that's
good hacky sacks.
Yeah, that's basically what she shows it to you on. Is it when we say hacky sack, it's like a bean-filled small ball that, well, if you know, if you don't, you do hacky sacking with.
Yeah, you kick it with your feet and keep it in the air, right?
Things and
yeah. Okay.
Big in the 90s.
They're crochet?
Yes, they are crochet.
Oh, okay, cool.
And usually all brightly colored and fun.
Yeah, you seem kind of enthusiastic. Did you have some?
Yeah.
It was a schoolyard athletic activity at recess.
Balance.
I completely can see Simone out there with the hacky sack crowd.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I could tell. I could feel the nostalgia. Yeah.
But then there was me with the. Do you remember? You put them on your ankle. It had a plastic circle on the one end, and you hooked your ankle into it. Then it had about
skip it.
Yes, skip it. That was it, and it had like a counter on it, literally like a row counter on the end of it. And you'd have to. It was hooked on your one leg that it spun on, and then your other leg had to jump it. And then it counted.
I definitely wasn't
You could do that with a hula hoop
nothing.
too. Yeah, and I giggle and think of that every time I do it with hula hoop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was totally part of the skip it and skipping crew.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, there were not boys on my recess club. I imagine with the hacky sacks, there might have been some gender intermingling. Yes. Not on the skipping club.
No, of course not.
We were snooty little girls.
Did you guys do double dutch too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
totally.
I didn't do that, but other kids did.
I used to like that. Yeah. Okay. So
where that all came from.
Yes,
anyway.
But now I don't know how we're going to show this because it is so tiny that you can barely see it.
Yeah,
even when you're
pictures.
Yes. Yeah. So,
or they'll start to get the effect of the actual picture. From a distance.
Okay. So go.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Betsy's cross stitch.
Cross stitch on even weave.
It's really tiny.
It's very tiny. Yeah, Ken's like, move it closer. I don't
it won't
think that's
matter.
Gonna help.
It won't matter. You can barely see it when it's in your hand.
So what you're looking at, it also doesn't help that it's like literally the middle of the picture.
Yeah.
This is a sweater, a knit sweater that a rabbit is wearing. And the little tiny bits of orange, Ken is trying to decipher this, will be fox heads like you'll find on my For Fox's Sake sweater.
Right.
So there are still some, because true to me, I love to add the real pop details at the very end. The fox will get eyes. And I think the real challenge, it'll be new to me. I was telling Kim, I've never really done a cross stitch pattern that has back stitching.
Right.
This has significant back stitching, not just like black outlining. In the sweater, there are strings of green that create what looks like a sweater, like folded and kind of rumpled up on someone's body. So I'll have to do all of those.
You're really down deep now.
I am. And I am a little bit addicted. So I have actually, my one finger is a bit sore from holding the ring. So of course, I'm going to need more equipment. And then all week, I've been blown away by how little thread it uses.
Oh,
so I bought one skein of like 30 different colors. Remember that whole big like thing
your
that
kit?
I showed you?
Yep.
I have pulled out like, I don't know, 2 or 3 strands of like a few of the colors. Anyway, I was like, I could make this rabbit 30 times over.
Well, that's how you end up with your collection.
Well, so then the discussion, Matthew was like, well, could you just like buy the whole DMC kit? I'm like, absolutely.
Oh.
And there are like special boxes to organize it.
So it comes in a wooden box.
Just keeps going.
Yeah.
People.
Somebody else might have looked it up.
I looked it up.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's $1,700.
However, by the time you bought all, like if you know you're in, again, right? It's that thing where like, same with when you invest in knitting tools. If you know you're going to be really into it, if you just do it all at once, it's a large output.
Yeah.
But by the time you buy all the bits and pieces separately, if you add it up in the end, you probably get there anyway.
Yeah, and you have this beautiful wooden box with the little drawers in it. But
anyway, I'm not wooden boxing yet today.
Okay.
But I'm loving it. It's keeping my attention.
It would make me feel better. It would make me feel great if you bought it. So I could look at it.
Well, there you go.
I looked at it and I was like, I haven't cross stitched in so long, and I have literally, I don't know, almost every color that was available when I was doing cross stitch. Yeah, like I've got a lot of colors, so I was like, really,
well, see, that's
I need molding for my house.
And that's where I was blown away, because like one skein of DMC embroidery floss is going to do several projects
when you're not using them full strength.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I realized how big a mistake I'd made there. But also, like, that will go for a long time. Unlike with a sweater, I need to buy like 8 skeins of the same color to get once. It's not comparable at all by any means. But it was just like all of a sudden I was like, wow, talk about like when you minuscule your craft down.
Yeah. But this is like so fine. Because when I actually looked at the fabric when you first had it, I thought, well, I forget what count you said this is, 36?
I think it's either 32 or 36 even weave.
Yeah.
But I'm doing, it's 2/2.
Yeah. So I've done that before, but I don't know if it's because now my eyes are 60 years old or if it's just that it looks, but I never used even weave. I used linen.
I think it's the same though.
Oh, well, yeah, it would be the number of threads per, well, no, but the thread is thicker. This is very, very fine.
Oh, maybe.
So it's threads that it's counting, right? I think it's threads per inch.
Yes.
So if 32, oh no, it would be the same.
It would still be the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, my research was telling me exactly, like if you have this size of Ada, this is what it would be in even weave. This is what it would be in. I basically went like as small as I thought would be reasonable. There is finer. I'm pretty sure you
40.
can get.
I think it goes all the way down to 48.
That sounded like that sounded advanced. So I just went with intermediate.
Well, this is really like when this is done with the shading and everything, it's going to be something else.
Well, and that's what I was attracted to. So I love working on Ada because it is just a bit sturdier. So you can work what they call in hand, which I was doing at the end of my last project because I was like, oh, this is actually, then you don't have the weight of a ring at all. However, I love the finished look of the really fine weave because then when you look back, you can't even see the X's.
It's a picture. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm almost done all the green, and then I get to start making the bunny's body. Around the sweater.
Yeah.
I just have to fill in these little bits.
Right. And I mean, this is I don't think anybody was doing this when I was cross stitching, is that this green is actually two different colors, greens. One strand of each color.
Yeah. So then like they're kind of the blending. It's like painting watercolors with embroidery floss.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm doing. Yeah. And I love watercolor, but I am not talented with paintbrushes and pencils.
Oh, yeah.
So
gorgeous.
This is my version of it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Can hardly wait.
Well, if I stay as addicted, it shouldn't take too long.
Okay.
But I might not see much knitting lately.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just continuing on with my Homage to the Granny Square.
You buried it on you,
and
sorry.
yeah, that's okay. So now I've in 2 different things. So I just keep showing these pile of things, and there's a bunch more in here. I have 20 squares left to do, and then I'm putting it together. So I think the course is actually wound down, or they're at the end of it now. So I'm a little bit behind, but surprisingly for me, I kept up pretty well.
Tore through this project.
Yes, relative to other things but it's I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. It's just really, really fun, and you can just pick it up and do it. Yeah. The squares are easy to memorize. Once you've got 1 or 2 under your belt, then you don't need to have a piece of paper that you're looking at, and it's just really fun. So I'm getting close to the end. So there's 4 large squares that are in the corners, like the cornerstones of the blanket, and then I think I have like 20 small ones yet. So if I can, before I have to edit the video, I do a check every now and then. I lay out all the squares in more or less the order that I think I'm going to sew them together, and I take a picture of it. And then I look at the picture before I choose the colors for the next squares, because you tend to use the colors that you like the best. But the blanket is more interesting when you've got colors that are a little bit disruptive. Yeah. So I look at how much I have left of the balls of yarn that I have, and then I look at the picture and say, okay, I need to do a few that have the dark green center in them or something like that. So it's really helpful to keep the color balanced in your project. So
do you know finished dimensions of this project?
No.
Is it like a lap?
Yeah, it's kind of like a throw.
Okay.
Yeah, a throw. I'm not sure what
smaller than the Wallflower, you think?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's smaller. Yeah. And it's like kind of a rectangle. Like the Wallflower is like a full.
Yeah. It doesn't quite fit my queen bed lengthwise, but it definitely covers the queen widthwise.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then as well, I know you don't like to look ahead. Do you know yet how these are being joined?
There's a different. Oh no, I didn't look to see.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So she did there was one of the things that she said, if you want to check to see, like, you can lay it, but there's a couple different layouts that you can do. People have done different things. And what's really interesting, actually, is that she showed a picture of one Sue did on her feed, her Instagram feed, of a monochromatic one. So it was all kind of like cream and soft gray and very soft blue. So it was like, I was like, what? Did you take a black and white picture? But it didn't look black and white. It was this monochromatic.
Which I love those. The end product of those, they can look so elegant and classic. But I have to admit,
boring
when you're making it, right? Like I love the fun of the colors that I'm holding in my hands. Yes. So as much as and I think that's why I've always run into, because for quite a while there, people were doing a lot of very classic, soft, muted sweaters. And again, I love the end product, the wearability. Yeah. But when I'm making something, I just want color.
Yeah, so I have to say this, when I saw the picture and realized that it wasn't what it was, it's very, very elegant. And it would be like perfect for like a wedding gift or something like that. Like very, very elegant. But the fun of doing this project is that how the like some of the combinations, like look at that, Betsy.
I know.
Yeah. And when you finish, when you finish this, you're like, oh, I'm just going to look at it. So, but it is a little bit more challenging putting them together afterwards, because you have to have some kind of a flow or whatever. But anyway, I would have never thought to do that, like with a monochromatic thing, but it was absolutely gorgeous and very, very elegant.
Did it have like as many shades?
Oh yeah.
As you? Okay.
Yeah, so it was all like it was all, but it was and I mean, it was a picture on Instagram, so it's not really you can't really see the detail. I'm sure it's even more gorgeous in person. So yeah,
I'm sure.
Okay, so that's that. And we're just going to have a little break because Justin, the UPS guy, just arrived.
Well, they can get their packages. They want those as bad as they want this podcast.
Yes, exactly. So, Simone, what are you working on?
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you have quite an eclectic mix of things to show us today.
I can't see it at all because it's on the other side of her. I don't even know what's coming.
What will I start with? I'll start with what's on the list. And
there's more that's not on the list.
Ranunculus.
Yes, okay.
So this is another Ranunculus by Midori Hirose.
Yeah.
And it's in cotton cashmere. It doesn't look very exciting right now because it's all squished up on needles.
Yeah.
But I've started the raglan increases.
Oh, okay.
So I'll soon be dividing or joining in the round for the body.
Right.
Yeah, separating the sleeves and moving on from there. So it's not terribly exciting. I've gotten through all the fun yoke stuff. It's very light and airy, and the fabric is amazing.
Yeah. So the cotton cashmere is a real, not what you expect.
No,
yarn.
not at all.
Yeah. Because
it
it
looks
feels
like it's softening as you're knitting it.
It is.
Yeah. And it blooms.
And then I made a total mess of the balls.
Yeah. So when you feel it, it feels like butcher's string.
It does.
Yeah.
It feels stiff
And cottony. But when you knit with it, the cashmere starts to bloom, and it has a very interesting color or texture. So if you're somebody that you live in a place or you want to knit something in the summer that you want cotton, but you don't want cotton, but you want something light, you don't want wool. This is it's a very surprising yarn.
It is.
Yeah.
So surprising, in fact, that I was just going to knit this as a short sleeve tee because, why not?
Yeah.
I want more tees in my wardrobe. Yeah. And I love the fabric so much that I actually want the long sleeve version.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that I probably will do the long sleeve because the fabric feels like it will be kind of one of those insulating fabrics. So it's warm on the cold days, but cool enough on the warmish
and you've
days.
got your gauges quite open too.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I think it's kind of an outlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a really nice finished project. And it was funny because you were talking about grays. I don't know how many gray sweaters I have, but I'm not stopping.
No, it's great.
Because when Simone feeds gray through her hand, it feeds her soul.
Yeah.
I love my gray sweaters. Well, I'm wearing a gray sweater today with little pops of color and stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah, it just goes with everything.
It's funny that you said that because I'm knitting You Can Do It if I ever get back to doing it. But I'm holding mine with Alpaca Classic, so it's more traditionally a wool, but I could tell with that while I was working with it, it's like it just softens while you're working with it, and it's totally unexpected the way that it feels.
It is. It's absolutely amazing. So like whenever you squish the ball in the store, you're like,
I don't get it really.
But once you knit with it, so I think maybe we'll need to do a little swatch and hang it there.
Yeah,
that way folks that are visiting can come in and feel what it really feels like.
Yeah, because it's really deceiving when you just feel it in the ball.
Yeah,
and
I really made a mess of that ball.
Yarn's gonna have to barf. I've been having a little bit of a small heart attack over here watching it.
Oh well. Yeah, you should have been here yesterday.
Oh no.
We had a little incident in the mill. So we did this gorgeous Simone was having trouble with the
not
batch,
yesterday. Because I was like, I was here yesterday. What happened?
No, after you left.
No, because that's supposed to have been another day. Because Simone
No. It was after you left yesterday.
This was the trouble batch.
Yes.
From start to finish.
I don't know what happened to this batch of yarn, but it's going to be gorgeous, but we're trying to make a batch of Signature Aran, which is the most simple yarn that we make because it's not too fine. It just usually you just go through, it goes fast and whatever. You were having trouble.
I was blowing bands on the machines and just like all this weird stuff that never happens.
Yeah.
And Kim looked at me and she's like, what's going on back here?
The exhaust of the vacuum fell off and we had to replace that. Then the bands broke on the carter.
And then it broke at the draw frame and it was just like, wool everywhere.
Yeah. So, and then we do a combing, like a kind of a pre-stretching, if you want to call it, and it's on a machine called the draw frame. One of the strands got caught up in the thing, so it went without, wasn't the right, like it was like a single instead of a double width. That went in the whatever. Yeah. So then I was here yesterday and you were off, so I did the second go through the draw frame. Yeah, okay. That all went okay. And I put it on the spinner, spun perfectly. Even I did the test weight, and it was like the first time I was like, oh, okay, I still remember how that goes. Beautiful, all done. I put it on the plier, and I had a customer, and I came out and I waited on the customer, and I forgot all about it being on the plier, and it overshot the bobbin on the plier. Oh no! And that happens sometimes, and that's already bad enough. Yeah. But the yarn didn't break, so it kept going on, and then two combined bobbins. I couldn't even get it off the machine. It was like. So
it wasn't me.
Yeah. It wasn't me. Anyway, I rescued it because the yarn itself was fine, but it's just you can't cut it because it's got parts from below and parts from above. So if you cut it, you could be cutting into the you just 100 yards in.
Unwind.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I did. Anyway, I was like, ooh, okay. So
that Aran is sneaky. Like it fills the bobbin so fast.
Yeah.
That you have to check it every 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it was the batch. Anyway, it's a beautiful, and I was out here in the shop trying to unwind it, and I was like, should just cut it, but it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. So anyway, So where were we? We had a little we had a little interruption guest, little chat with an old friend.
Yeah. So we finished with Ranunculus,
right? Oh yes. So now the Sea. I don't know
Sea Faerdy.
Faerdy.
I think that's
Faerdy. Yeah, nice.
So this is growing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, because you were only just way down here the last time. Yeah.
So this is the Sea Faerdy Vest by Gudrun Johnson, and I'm knitting mine in Rowan felted tweed. I don't remember all the names. I know this is pine. Yeah. Burn red. Yeah. Peach. Yeah. What is the blue?
The blue is.
She has a light greeny. It's either Eden or.
This blue, I listed them last time. The pink is Dusk. Yep. And the blue, I think, is it either Delft or I think it's Delft, maybe.
And then the blue-green, is that Mallard?
No.
Nope.
I
don't remember the names.
No. Okay. We'll have to write them down. Okay, yeah.
And then there's like another green here. I think that might be the khaki.
Yes, it is khaki. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember that one.
Good variety of colors. Yeah. I think it's 7 in total.
Yes.
So I'm just trucking away on it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's pine. Okay.
Yeah. Pine and burn red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. I love knitting color work. And this gives me an opportunity to use lots of color, which is exciting. Yes. So I'm just kind of enjoying it.
Sorry, vests are having a moment, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. And it's one of those things where like the knitted t-shirts, at first I used to think they were impractical, but now I get a lot of use out of my knitted t-shirts. Yeah. Because, if it's just kind of like middling weather, you can throw that on. And if you get cold, you throw on a little cardigan over top. Yeah. Hence the twin set talk a few weeks ago. Yeah. I'm a big fan of these cute little vests and tees and things like that. You can see Ginger Snap was helping.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always, the pets are always helping. Yeah. It's nice.
I can't say enough how lovely the felted tweed is when I first knit up. It's another one of those ones where it feels totally different in the ball than it does whenever you actually knit with it. Yeah. And even that, after you wash and block it, it totally changes as well. So it's fun and very potato chippy.
Yeah.
It blooms, but not like it gets a little bit of a halo to it, but when we're saying that it blooms, we don't mean that it like goes like kid soap where it gets like fuzzier.
Yeah.
It's like
opens up a little bit.
The whole strand of yarn kind of just takes on air, volume.
I've said this before, I have to say when I first started carrying it and just saw it in the ball, I was like, I don't know what the big fuss is. But there's the yarn itself, but then there's also the way that the colors play together. And we've said this many, many times, is that it's really hard to make a bad combination with it. Like it really just seems to work.
And all these little pops of colors in the tweedy portion of it just make me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I was actually like laying in bed the other night thinking about, I wonder what their colors they're going to add to the collection of Felted Tweed this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying to like imagine what might be coming.
They're getting up there because it's like, I think they're over 60 colors now.
I can probably still make suggestions for them.
I know. It's
yellows,
crazy.
Purples, and greens that they need to fill holes on.
Yeah. Okay. Are you listening? Yeah. Cool. That's a nice project.
Definitely stand their yellows for sure.
Yeah.
There we go. And
what else?
sewing.
The sewing.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had to give you a sewing section now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to that. Actually, it was funny because I sent a message to Melissa McCarthy. She's the one that got me started on all of this. And I'm like, you've created a monster. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
And she was, I'm happy to enable.
That's so bad. Maybe I have to cut that out.
Or maybe I'll leave it in.
We took a break. Well, then I'm going to explain. We took a break, and then Simone was yawning, and I was like, okay, take in oxygen, take in. So I took in oxygen, and I think I overdid it.
Oh.
Now my body's trying to find equilibrium.
Oh.
Now I'm blushing.
Oh. Well, it's all good. All right, Simone.
Okay. So my first project I'm going to share is from a workshop that I did on the weekend. It's this fun little purse.
Yeah, lovely.
Go up a bit.
Yeah.
So this one was the first opportunity I had to work with the bag hardware. So I'll turn it around here.
Okay.
So putting these fun little doodads, I don't know what they're actually called, in, and then I've got
this
pockets.
part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and then
okay.
the slider and things like that.
Oh, so how do you? So what do you buy the band?
Yeah.
And then the hardware is separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you can make your strap. You can adjust it as need be.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
Everything just kind of slides.
Yeah.
And there's pockets here. There's a zipper on the front with fun lining.
Yeah. Really you'll have to take pictures of that. Yeah.
Really cute.
And then another zipper on the top.
With matching
more
lining.
pockets on the inside.
Wow.
So yeah, it was fun. It was 4 hours, and it was the perfect amount of time.
So you cut it out and made
I
it.
didn't cut it out. All of these were pre-cut. So with Melissa's classes, she usually gives you the option of cutting beforehand or buying a kit.
Okay.
And her kits are very inexpensive, and I wanted to make sure that I had everything that I was supposed to get.
Okay.
So I went with the kit, and
So these fabrics are the fabrics that she put together in the kit? Oh, yeah. Because it's a very, very cute. Like I guess you're gonna have to do a picture, but I just love that.
So cute.
Yeah, yeah, fun.
So I made a lot of mistakes on the project. You can't really tell, which is great by me.
I don't see any project.
I learned tons and tons.
Yeah, cute. Yeah, I love the little stag.
Yes. One of the first mistakes that I made, I sewed this panel upside down.
Oh, okay.
So the stags were upside down.
You might have noticed that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It was the very first seam that we did, and I was like, "Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
I have to use my seam ripper right away."
Yeah, your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
As we've said before in sewing.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to say that when we talk about our mistakes, it's not like somebody had commented a couple episodes ago. You don't need to talk about your mistakes, but we actually like our mistakes.
Yeah, because they're always a learning opportunity.
Yeah,
no problems with my mistakes.
No, I know. So we're not. It's not like we're totally like highly critical, or it's not a criticism. It's just like we find that making the mistakes, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Or if we share them, maybe you can avoid them.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a prof in university, and she used to get so excited when any of us made mistakes in the food lab because you never know what kind of discovery you're going to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Like one of the girls burnt, like scorched the milk when making caramels one time, and it ended up tasting like score bars. So it was pretty awesome.
Okay.
So
perfect.
Like, okay, let's try and repeat that.
Happy mistakes. Okay, so that's that. And then you're starting a quilting another.
Yes. So Firm and Folk is an account that I follow on Instagram, and she has a really neat aesthetic. She does quilts, and she also runs a natural dye farm. But she started a folk quilt sampler, kind of make along, and I'm just using scraps for mine because I have a bag full of fun things that Joanne gifted to me,
right?
And I want to use it all up. So I've been kind of playing along. She's got 3 blocks out now. It's all free, and you can follow along on the blog. So if you're a person that likes to quilt and sew, this might be up your alley too. But I started out with this block. I don't remember the name of it.
It's so sunny and lovely.
I love
it. It is.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I did an okay job with the little points and things like that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Things are a little bit askew, but I learned from it. And the next time I do something like this, I will make adjustments.
It just
this is okay. I was like, wow, but it's actually a printed fabric.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
And this was part of a jelly roll.
Yeah.
And those are the cat's meow.
So fun.
What's a jelly roll?
It's like a whole bunch of fabrics where they give you strips.
Okay.
And I think you can get them in varying sizes, like how long the strip is or how big it is. So you just get a really good variety of smaller pieces.
Right.
Perfect for quilting.
Okay.
And it's nice too because I don't have a ton of space. So trying to cut up large pieces of fabric can be difficult.
Yeah.
But these were all like 6 inches in height. So it was very simple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you just doing this? What are you going to make with the squares I'm
going to make a quilt.
You're going to make a quilt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So I am going to actually make the quilt, and
wood chip there.
It's, like I said, just going to be kind of scrappy and fun. I'm going to use all different colors. Nothing's going to match.
Nice.
And I'm happy with that.
Exactly what all of the quilts I grew up with.
Yeah.
My grandmothers made quilts out of dress remnants.
Yeah.
Because they sewed their own clothes.
Yeah,
right. They're from the Mennonite background, so all the clothes were sewn.
Yeah.
So whatever was left or had been worn to tiredness.
Yeah.
My grandma, I think, even made one. My mom has talked about either the flour or the sugar used to come in printed fabric bags. So we have some quilts in my family that are made out of
maybe good and sturdy
bags.
too.
Yeah.
So that was the first one.
We're so wasteful now. Like you, honestly, it's like when you really hear stories of people like the people that were living in mostly rural areas, obviously, but they didn't nothing went to waste. No.
It's you didn't just throw something out because you were tired of it.
Yeah, or you found another use for things like the, bags and things.
I'm pretty sure like my mom used to even, I see it in rice bags, feed bags, used to have it, the string.
Yes.
That came out, she would have a ball in her drawer of like the feed bag string all coiled up, and then you'd eventually have a large ball. Yeah. And then I even remember her talking one time about like crocheting tablecloths.
Oh my goodness!
It's cotton. Cotton
strips.
String. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So, and you have another?
I have another one too.
Oh, this one's wild.
Yes. So this was some fun fabric. Melissa gifted me the little mushroom fabric, and then I went with a really wild color. This is my second time doing this block. It's called the Woodland Path. The first time was a big learning experience because I used too dark and printed fabric, so it was almost impossible to see
the design.
And this one is a little bit busier anyway, so it was a live and learn moment, and I'm gonna make a trivet out of it, so
perfect.
It's not going to waste.
Great.
So this one is really fun, and it definitely does not match with this, but I don't care.
Is she releasing like a block a week or something that you
so I think it's 24 blocks total, and you can usually complete these in an evening. So far anyway. So we'll see. And I mean, like at the most I'd have to do 2 evenings where, I can cut one evening and then sew the next. And another little trick that I found on another Instagrammer's page was using the painter's tape to mark the blocks. So it's like if blocks are a certain size and you have to have a bunch of them, and then there's more blocks in slightly smaller size of the same fabric, you can kind of put a pin through them and then put a sticky of painter's tape on saying what size they are, so you don't accidentally
just
label it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been using that as well because I mean all of these were slightly different sizes to get this shape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Your actual quilt pieces.
Yes.
You're labeling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not the finished block.
No.
The actual
Right.
piece.
Okay.
Okay. I see.
So you don't confuse.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So,
Like your hexagon.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
it's like, I love labeling. I never ever say don't label.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Fun. All right.
and that is it for my stuff.
That's it. Okay. So wow.
I did more sewing than knitting.
Yeah.
We covered
That's okay.
knitting, crochet, amigurumi, cross stitch,
Yep.
quilting,
Yep.
bag making. We didn't even do spinning or weaving.
Right. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Eh? It's good.
There's a new one on my radar.
What's that?
Rug braiding.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Oh. And you use scraps of fabric for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bedding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
bedding.
Rag,
Yeah.
like
Into
rag
strips.
coil. What? Yeah.
Yeah, they braid that anyway.
Yeah. Have you started it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just started like following things and looking up tutorials and going, is this doable? So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't
That's a
know.
community
Fun.
school
We'll
thing
see.
too.
Oh,
Is it?
Yes, that's where I learned how to do it. Was community
Okay.
school.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, we're big fans of community
Yeah, we
schools.
are.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think that's about it for today.
We've been all over the place.
Yes, so we'll just go do a quick little talk about the PEI Fibre Festival. So I just want to correct something that I said in the last episode, because I said that there was 2 tours on October 22nd, which is the day before the official opening of the festival. There's only one. And the second one is on the 23rd of October. So people that had tickets thought that they might have had the wrong tickets, but no, your tickets are correct. It was me that was wrong. And so the festival starts, the tour that's on the 22nd is actually sold out. So that's the Green Gable Alpaca tour and dyeing workshop. And so the PEI Fibre Festival is being held at the Delta Convention Center in downtown Charlottetown between October 23rd and the 25th. And I just wanted to talk about, we had the festival organizing committee got a lot of comments that we don't have enough crochet in the festival. So we've kind of ramped it up.
Year?
Not this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so from last year.
Okay.
So we've kind of ramped up things and added a lot more crochet. And we have a really excellent instructor coming from the US called Bonnie Barker, who is doing things with crochet that I always feel bad because I love crochet for what it is. But I mean, it's just beautiful on its own. It's not knitting, it's something different. But there is always this kind of, I always feel a little bit guilty about saying, it looks like knitting. And it sounds like you're impressed because it looks like knitting with crochet. But there are people that just don't want to knit, that prefer to crochet, but would like to be able to have, cables and things like that. So there are lots of people that are doing that kind of work. And Bonnie Barker, if you're interested in that kind of thing, her expertise, I would say, is doing fabrics, crocheted fabrics, which are cables and things like that. So she's actually running, I think it's 5 classes in crochet at all different skill levels. But some of the work that she's doing with post stitches and things like that to make cables and whatever, it's really, really amazing. And she's teaching. I'm going to be showing pictures as I'm talking here about some of the things that you're going to learn in some of the classes. So if you're a crocheter and you really want to ramp up your game, or if you want to learn something new, I would suggest that you take a look at Bonnie's slate of classes. And if you're not quite there, because you're still like me, where I actually find it kind of hard to read crochet patterns, like the schematics and stuff like that. She's actually doing a class on that as well.
Okay.
Being able to read because the symbols and everything are a little bit different from knitting.
I will totally admit that I can read it after I've either seen it written out or watched the video.
Yeah.
So I'm not technically reading it. I
Yes.
guess. I'm just like, oh, I saw it and now I can use that as a reference.
Yes.
Point. But
Yes.
yeah,
I,
I
on the
would
other hand,
agree.
really enjoy the schematics.
Pardon?
I really enjoy the schematics.
You like that. Yeah.
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 So I'm just after almost having the Wallflowers done, and at the end of my journey with the granny squares, I can finally read a schematic.
I think part of what threw me off, I was doing okay, and then I started the sumat and stuff, and we switched to UK terms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was doing great reading it in the US terms, and I had those figured out, the symbols for that, and then my brain was just struggling to
Do the conversion.
to switch the visual, also a conversion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I actually found I needed to not think about it too much.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
needed to not think about the name of the stitch.
Right.
I needed to just think about what the stitch was and the schematic. Maybe I don't know,
is the schematic the same?
I believe the symbols are still
The symbols
the same, but it's applied to a different stitch, right?
Yes.
Like so. Yeah, maybe I'm making this more complicated.
So-
I don't want to mess this up. I could be wrong. but
Yeah. So just for people that
Yeah.
don't know, that haven't crocheted, there's the UK terms
Yeah.
and then there's the US terms.
Yeah.
The stitches themselves are exactly the same. They're just called something
different
different.
things, yeah.
And the confusing part is that a single crochet in US is a double crochet in UK, and it goes like that up.
So it's
up
almost
the
like
head.
they're too close. If they had
Yeah.
given them complete different names,
Yes.
I might have coped better than.
Yeah, so it
them
gets
being
to
so
be
close.
confusing.
Yeah.
And you need to get but because I did most of my crocheting with Sue Matten,
You
I'm
have
now
that.
British. I have
Yeah.
the British names in. So if I went to look at something for, or read a pattern from the US,
Yeah.
I would have a hard time to,
Yeah.
now I'd have to go back. But I think the schematic is the same.
I want to say it is,
Okay, but we're not
but
sure.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so
we'd have
somebody
to
can
check that.
comment and
Yeah.
tell us. So anyway, all of that is to say that it's not, schematics are really helpful. I love reading charts and knitting.
Oh,
In
yeah,
fact,
me
I
too.
always read the chart and not
Me
the
too.
the verbiage if it's available. But in crochet, I was like, okay, I don't know. But now I can read the chart.
Yeah. I was going to say
So-
with knitting, I totally took Simone's advice when I did Matthews, where I added a piece of color work that was not in the pattern. I charted it with the decreases and the increases
Right.
and the color work all in there. And that made so much difference.
Yes.
It makes your life a lot
It
easier.
really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're a visual learner, then that really helps. So anyway, all of this is to say, if you're a crocheter and you want to do something different and you want to maybe up your game or learn something new, take a look at her classes. I think there's 5 all together, and you've seen some pictures of some of the work that she's going to talk about there. So we'll have that available. It's really a unique opportunity to have somebody at this she's actually done like hundreds of patterns and things like that, so she's very experienced.
All right.
Somebody
to look up.
Yeah,
I know, that's what I was
exactly.
thinking. I was like, I actually did the where's my phone? I want to look her
I
up.
hadn't heard of her before, but when we did the research on who we wanted to invite, because we invited her to come, it was really amazing some of the things that she's doing. So without further ado, somehow an hour and a half went by again, like it always does. Yeah, we don't have much to talk about today. And then,
I don't think we ever wanted to talk.
Exactly. So we're going to just take a few minutes to wind down and listen to some beautiful music and see something that I don't know yet what it's going to be for the harmony part. So I just want to thank you for if you made it this far. Thanks for sticking with us to the end of the show, and have a wonderful 2 weeks with your crafting, whatever it is. So we really have covered a lot of bases. I don't know. Is there any new crafts that we have to learn?
Oh, I'm sure
Between the three of us?
Don't start asking that,
Yeah.
Kim.
Yeah.
There's a long list out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I should just put in here, there's a bob and lace demonstration at the Fibre Festival
Oh,
too.
yes.
So that's something.
Yes.
That's a whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, so have a great 2 weeks, and may you find joy in your crafting and friendship if you craft with somebody, and enjoy the harmony part, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye. Thank you.